Duraludon is one of our favorite Gen 8 Pokemon. It hasn't been around very long, but it's made a name for itself in many ways already. So what's up fellas, my name is Matt, and today Elias and I are going to talk about everything Duraludon has to offer. Alright, let's get started.
What's up, I'm Elias, and Duraludon is a Steel Dragon type Pokemon, a combination it shares with Dialga and Hisuian Goodra. That's a solid typing, because Dragon and Steel synergize quite nicely with each other. Steel cancels out all three of Dragon's weaknesses, and the Dragon type makes it neutral to fire as well, so our boy is only weak to fighting and ground. It resists 10 types, including a double resistance to grass and an immunity to poison. Not bad.
Duraludon has a base stat total of 535, which is pretty good. Its highest stats are defense and special attack, a combination that works quite nicely together. For the most part, special moves are the way to go. Duraludon can learn standard stab moves like Draco Meteor and Flash Cannon, but its move pool goes much deeper than that.
Despite being a special attacker, Duraludon can also dish out physical damage with Body Press. That's a fighting type move that uses your defense stat to deal damage as opposed to your attack. Since Duraludon's defense is almost as high as its special attack, Body Press also hits pretty hard. You can even pair that move with Iron Defense to boost it even further.
Duraludon is a lower tier Pokemon in Gen 8 singles. It was banned from the 5th highest tier, PU, but it's a viable pick in NU the next tier up. It has some pretty unusual sets in that tier as well, utilizing some unconventional items. The Life Orb is a common boosting item, but you can also go for the Expert Belt. This item boosts the power of super effective moves by 20%. The Life Orb boosts 30% at all times, but in exchange, you lose a 10th of your max health whenever you attack.
I lose a 10th of my max health whenever I attack, but I don't think I'm holding a Life Orb.
Hey Elias, you want to punch me and test that theory?
You're a little far away. Duraludon is reasonably bulky on the physical side, but taking Life Orb recoil whenever you attack would compromise that. The Expert Belt is the safer way to boost your damage output, although you won't always get said boost. Choice Specs give you a 50% boost, but that item makes Duraludon less flexible. If you pick Specs, you get locked into the first move you pick until you switch out. But it's a viable item nonetheless because you can use it to get more one-hit KOs.
Another possible item is the Eject Pack. This item switches you out automatically if your stats are lowered. Draco Meteor drops the user's special attack by 2 stages, so Duraludon can hold an Eject Pack to turn it into a 1U pseudo U-turn. A much stronger pseudo U-turn. It can learn all sorts of other moves too, like Stealth Rock, Thunderbolt, Dragon Pulse, Foul Play, and Steel Beam.
Duraludon can also learn Heavy Slam, which isn't as good a move as it might seem. Despite being a special attacker, its physical attack is also passable. Unfortunately, Heavy Slam's mechanics don't work in its favor. The heavier the user is compared to the target, the more damage Heavy Slam deals. But Duraludon is unironically too light to make this move work. It only weighs 88.2 pounds or 40 kilograms.
And that's why it's Elias's ideal shoulder Pokemon.
I can shoulder press, did I tell you that I hit 50 pounds?
Heavy Slam is 40 base power unless the user is at least 2 times heavier than the target. That means that if a standard Duraludon uses the move, it'll be the minimum power if the target is heavier than Bidoof. And there's a lot of Pokemon that are heavier than Bidoof. Most Pokemon aren't in danger against this move whatsoever.
Before we take a deeper look, a word from this channel's first sponsor.
Have you ever wanted to make your own video game? Well, today's sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University, can help you do just that. I was super excited when they contacted us, because that happens to be where my mom got her master's. SNHU is one of the most affordable schools around, boasting some of the lowest online tuition rates in the US. They offer a degree in game design and development, and your courses are taught by faculty with real-world experience, so you'll have opportunities to connect with people in the industry.
SNHU offers 24/7 online accessibility, which means you can take classes whenever or wherever is most convenient. You can also start whenever you're able, because SNHU offers 6 8-week terms every year. If you've already got college credits, you can transfer up to 90 of them to finish your degree as quickly as possible. So click the link in the description or visit snhu.edu/MEPlaysGames and learn how you can get started with a game design and development degree. To put things into perspective, Duraludon is 5'11". That towers over Matt. That towers over Matt because he's short and he should feel bad about it. But that's besides the point. If a human weighed 88 pounds at that height, they'd be dangerously underweight. Most people that size are way heavier than the building Pokemon. Apparently, Game Freak loves chaos though, so we're not done. Duraludon has 3 abilities and 2 of them affect its weight. If you're at home and you're short, do not feel bad about it.
It's only me who should feel bad about it. Not only that, but these abilities are exact opposites of each other. Heavy Metal doubles Duraludon's weight to 80 kilograms, and Light Metal halves it to 20. So if you gave a Light Metal Duraludon an ability capsule, its weight would quadruple. That would be like if I woke up tomorrow weighing 80 pounds, and I woke up the next day weighing 320. So not only is Duraludon's default weight surprising, but its possible weights cover an extremely wide range. damage.
Does that make much of a difference in battle? Nope. Low Kick and Grass Knot deal weight-based damage, and each ability puts Duraludon in a different weight class. If you have Light Metal, the moves will be 40 power, if you have Heavy Metal, they'll be 80 power, and if you don't have either ability, it'll be 60 power. That's not a huge deal though, because those moves aren't terribly common these days. Duraludon is also taking pathetic damage from Grass Knot no matter what, because it double resists grass moves.
Out of curiosity, how fast can you type?
On a good day, like 90. Usually around 80.
These abilities affect the damage you take from Heat Crush and Heavy Slam, but those moves aren't very common either. Weight mechanics aren't impactful in most situations, so Duraludon's ability of choice in doubles is its signature Stalwart. That prevents its moves from being redirected, meaning they'll always hit their intended target. It can ignore the effects of moves like Rage Powder and Ally Switch, as well as abilities like Storm Drain and Lightning Rod.
Duraludon is inspired by buildings, but in particular, it seems to be based on the Shard. It opened in 2013, and it's the tallest building in the United Kingdom. In fact, it's the only 1,000-foot skyscraper in Europe outside of Poland and Russia. Its Gigantamax form is especially skyscraper-like. The Pokedex doesn't have exact height measurements for Gigantamax Pokemon, but the lower bound for Duraludon is 141 feet and 1 inch, or 43 meters. I can type faster than 40 words a minute on my iPhone.
I wonder how fast I can type on my phone. I don't like doing it very much.
No.
Gigantamax Duraludon's signature move is not good. G-Max Depletion is a Dragon-type attack, and it takes 2 power points from the target's most recent move. We've gone over this move in a previous video, so to cut a long story short, power points just aren't that big a deal in most battles. That's especially the case because Dynamax and Gigantamax are banned in Smogon singles. VGC games don't last many turns, so you're not likely to run out of power points on anything, whether you get hit by this move or not. During a playthrough, your opponent will almost never run out either.
Duraludon's name has quite a few possible inspirations. The first half could come from the word durable, but it could also refer to duralumin. That's an alloy of aluminum, which is often used in the aviation industry. It's quite lightweight, clocking in at under 3 grams per cubic centimeter. For comparison, copper is 9 grams per cubic centimeter, and silver is about 10.5. That would explain why this guy weighs 90 flippin' pounds. Duralumin is about 3 times less dense than the average metal. The Pokedex backs that up as well. Most of Duraludon's entries talk about how lightweight it is.
The words durable and dragon could also be part of Duraludon's name, but it could end with Don for various reasons. Don is a common ending for dinosaur names, like Iguanodon, Volcanodon, and Rabdodon. I hope I got those right.
Why didn't you just use some like easy one like Velociraptor Don, Tyrannosaurus Rex Don?
But there's one other possibility. If you use honorifics like Mr. or Mrs. in English, it'll usually be followed by the person's last name. But in Spanish, you use Don or Doña alongside someone's first name instead. We think the dinosaur theory is more likely though, because Duraludon is from Galar, the region based on the UK. It can't be found in Paldea, which is based on Spain and Portugal, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. I mean, we've messed up the connection between pterosaurs and dinosaurs in a video before.
Yeah, that's fine. They're all dead and fuel for my electricity now. For reasons that we cannot begin to explain, but we also won't complain about, Duraludon got an evolution in Gen 9. Archaludon was added in Scarlet and Violet's second DLC, the Indigo Disc. That makes Duraludon an unevolved Pokemon as of December 2023. Not only that, but it's one of the absolute strongest unevolved Pokemon around. Out of every Pokemon that's capable of evolving, Duraludon has the highest base stat total. It's stronger than every middle evolution in the game.
Duraludon is also just, you know, grams number times more imposing than most unevolved Pokemon. You've got a duckling, small rocks that evolve into much bigger rocks, literal babies, and then a skyscraper. Yeah, one of these looks like it doesn't match the rest, but it's also pretty funny. Eviolite works on the flippin' skyscraper Pokemon. How many of our viewers are gonna be familiar with what Graham's number even is?
I don't even know Graham's number.
So there's this notation called Noose Up Arrow Notation. Blah, blah, blah. You guys didn't click on this video to hear me nerd out about math. Long story short, it's a number that's massive beyond human comprehension.
Pokemon Stadium 2 introduced a Little Cup format, which consists entirely of level 5 unevolved Pokemon. Unofficial Little Cup metas are still played in the modern day, although some Pokemon get banned. As you might have expected, Duraludon wasn't allowed in Little Cup for even a millisecond. It was banned well before the Indigo Disc came out. It's pretty easy to understand why as well. You know, I'm starting to realize I look more and more like my dad when I sit down.
Oh, you're old. You're getting old.
Yeah. It's not good.
Duraludon has an absurdly high base stat total for the format, and it hits harder than everything else too. Its special attack stat of 120 is higher than every unevolved Pokemon. Abra used to hold the record, but most of its other stats are completely miserable. Duraludon's total is on par with the fully evolved starters, so it was pretty clearly going to be too much for a tier of babies to handle. That would be like pitting a Trico against a Sceptile.
If you use a metaphor, it should be something that's not Pokemon.
Alright, fine. That would be like pitting a baby against Prime Mike Tyson. How on earth do you think that's gonna go?
As for Archaludon itself, it's got a base stat total of 600, so that raises one question. Is this guy a pseudo-legendary? In turn, that raises 1.5 answers. No, but it's complicated. According to international Pokemon fandoms, pseudo-legendaries have to meet 4 conditions, and Archaludon only meets 2. First off, they can't be legendary Pokemon, and their base stat total must be exactly 600. So far so good. But pseudo-legendaries also have to be in the slow experience group, and be the last member of a 3-stage evolution line. Archaludon levels up too fast, and it only has 1 pre-evolution, so it's not a pseudo-legendary.
The Japanese fandom doesn't use the term pseudo-legendary though. Metagross and friends are members of the 600 Club instead, which consists of Pokemon with base stat totals of exactly 600, excluding legendaries, mythicals, and megas. Up until the Indigo Disc, the 600 Club was identical to the list of pseudos, but Archaludon is in the medium-fast experience group, and its evolution line only has 2 members. So this guy is part of the 600 Club, but not the international list of pseudos.
Short people. You know, I think today is like National Short Person Day.
Really now?
Yeah, it's your day, Matt. Go out and do some stretches. I don't know.
I think it's a little too late for me to be doing stretches on account of me being 22.
Archaludon is inspired by various kinds of bridges, which could be why it's a DLC Pokemon. The main game takes place in Paldea, which is based on Spain and Portugal. But the second DLC is in Unova, a region that prominently features several bridges. Unova is based on New York City, which has many bridges of its own. Not only do they carry cars between the 5 boroughs and neighboring areas, but they're also integral to the city's subway system. Several different trains use bridges to travel between Brooklyn and Manhattan.
The B, D, N, and Q trains use the Manhattan Bridge, although the N uses a tunnel instead during late night hours. The J, M, and Z trains use the Williamsburg Bridge, but between you and me, the Z train doesn't exist, smile. Several trains also travel on bridges within boroughs, namely the 1, A, F, and G, as well as the Rockaway Shuttle. Many of New York's bridges broke records when they were built, so it makes sense to add a bridge Pokemon in Unova. As you might have guessed, yes, we are from New York. Archaludon's name is similar to Duraludon's, but it also includes the word arch, which is a type of bridge.
You just doxed your location on the internet. Archaludon is a Steel Dragon type like its pre-evolution, but its signature move is actually Electric type. Electro Shot is an upgraded clone of Skull Bash. Archaludon charges up on turn 1, raising its special attack in the process. Then on turn 2, the attack actually comes out and it hits for 130 base power. Skull Bash isn't a commonly used move, but Electro Shot is crucial for many competitive teams. So what gives?
According to the Pokedex, Duraludon doesn't like the rain very much. On the other hand, Archaludon absolutely loves it, because Electro Shot can be executed in 1 turn if it's raining. That means you get the special attack boost and the attack itself in 1 fell swoop. That eliminates the move's biggest drawback, which makes Archaludon an incredible pick on rain teams.
In fact, Archaludon is such a good choice that it was banned in Gen 9 OU, the highest standard tier in singles. You would use Pelipper as your rain setter, a physical sweeper like Barraskewda, and Archaludon would be your Swiss Army knife of sorts. Not only can it deal big special damage with Electro Shot alongside more standard moves, but it can also make some noise on the physical side.
That's especially the case thanks to its new ability, Stamina. Every time Archaludon is hit with an attack, its defense goes up by 1 stage. So not only is it virtually unkillable on the physical side, but Stamina also powers up Body Press, potentially to an absurd degree. You don't even need Iron Defense to boost it. That also means special walls like Blissey don't stand much of a chance, since Archaludon is using physical moves too. Water and Electric type Pokemon have the most obvious synergy with Rain, but Electro Shot makes Archaludon an absolute beast as well.
No, I did not know what Hisui and Gudra looked like. I only knew what Gumi, Gudra Jr. and Gudra looked like. Sliggoo. See, you can't
Sliggoo,
tell me.
that's what it's called.
Can't tell me I don't know my evolution lines.
You said Gudra Jr.
And then I said Sliggoo. Archaludon and Pelipper are also a great pair in doubles. As of writing this script, we're currently on Regulation H in VGC. All the legendaries and Paradox Pokemon have been banished, and Archaludon is a great Pokemon in this format too. Electro Shot is a great move in pretty much any format, and many of the tools it uses in singles work great here too. Stamina is still a fantastic ability, but Sturdy is also a viable choice. That prevents you from being one-shot, which can be a nice tool.
If you're using a rain team in doubles, Basculegion is the physical threat of choice. It shares the ability Swift Swift Swim with Barraskewda, but Basculegion is bulkier and has access to better moves. Barraskewda doesn't learn Wave Crash or Last Respects, but Archaludon doesn't just function on rain teams. Our boy can hold a Power Herb, which lets it use Electro Shot in one turn without rain. You can also hold an Assault Vest, which helps you balance out your defensive stats. Out of curiosity, can you do a one-handed push-up now?
No.
Oh, what a shame.
Stop asking.
No. I've seen you do one.
Yeah, I don't think I can anymore.
By the time this video comes out, VGC will be back in Regulation G, and all the legendaries and such will return from the Shadow Realm. Archaludon is a threat in this format too, thanks in part to Kyogre being available.
So you might be wondering how Archaludon stacks up size-wise, compared to Duraludon. Well, this guy is 6'7" and 132.3 pounds. An average 6'7" human weighs, who the hell knows how much, but it's definitely way more than that. To quote a wise man, myself, from a previous video, hit the gym, bro. As far as metric calculations go, Archaludon is 2 meters and 60 kilos even. Since this is a Japanese game, Pokedex measurements are a lot cleaner in metric. I'm with the millennials on this one. If it's important, you do it on the computer.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever turned in an assignment on my phone, come to think of it.
I try never to fill out forms on my phone. I don't really look at PDFs on my phone. I don't use my phone for any of that.
PDFs on a phone just suck, because like, the text is gonna be really small and then you gotta zoom in and it's a whole process. I hope you didn't click anything.
I clicked the reset the universe button. I hope that doesn't do anything.
I remember one time, I sent a video to some people that was like, oh, here's a guy solving a Rubik's Cube with one hand and doing push-ups with the other. And then I was like, oh, wait, hold on, wrong video. And then I sent them the video of him doing the same thing blindfolded. That is, peak male performance, I think.
That is pretty impressive.
Welp, that's all we got for today. Leave a comment about Espathra. Be sure to subscribe if you've been enjoying yourself, and consider joining the channel as a member. You'll get to see every long-form video early, as well as deleted scenes. And as always, shoutouts to our existing members, as well as SNHU for sponsoring this video. We'll see you all next time. Good night, fellas. Sleep well.